how good can a Scrum team be, and what's a great example? It depends what you mean by good, is the honest answer. Many people would equate good to fast, and if you read some of the literature, you will hear people talking about 400% increases in a team's ability to deliver. They'll very often use words like productivity and hyper productivity. And I'll be honest, I take that level of change with a pinch of salt, but 100, 200% change in an ability of the team to deliver is entirely achievable. They can consume more work. And if the team is well structured and well working, that work is going to then be more valuable towards the customer, towards the organization, towards the product as a whole. So if that's your definition of good, can they be faster at creating stuff? Absolutely. Many organizations, when they start on Scrum, they're hoping for a 25, 50% increase. And just by getting Scrum working, by the simple events, the simple structures within the framework that Scrum provides, getting that right will often give them the benefits they're looking for. But they can go further, and in fact many of them want to go further when they realise that just getting everybody pulling in the same direction is a huge step forward. Imagine what you could do when they want to be there, when they're well led. So if good for you is faster, you can do that. Time and time again, I've been engaged with teams where they've seen their ability to deliver stuff increase rapidly. And because we're also working with the product owners, the people who are wondering what to build next and why that's important, they are delivering more stuff that is valuable to that end customer, often 2-3 times faster than they were before, at a higher quality level. And that can be really important. If good is quality, right? They're not after faster, they're after better quality. Very often we're talking about slowing teams down in the early days so they can rebuild that quality. Right? The concept of technical debt coming out of the Agile world is a really great metaphor to help understand the quality of the software you're building or the product you're building. What are the things that should have been done but aren't? And as that grows in any product, and it often does if you don't keep your eye on it, the problems that it causes start to manifest. You're seeing symptoms of underlying issues of quality. You make one change and suddenly you're fixing half a dozen things. And when you make the changes to fix those, you're creating other problems elsewhere. And you play a giant game of whack-a-mole. And if that's what you want as good, you want higher quality, we can do that. We slow the teams down. We make sure that we re-baseline what good looks like, what the right quality level for this product is. And then we work with the team so that we hold them accountable, but ultimately they hold themselves accountable for achieving that quality. And as they do, things get easier. Instead of 6 bugs appearing, only 3 appear. And over time, maybe 1 or 2 appear. If you're lucky, none appear. And now we can invest that time and effort that was spent playing whack-a-mole into something that's more important. Be it delivering more things, or doubling down on our quality again, or whatever is most important next on the list. So there are many ways you need to be looking at good in a team, and really you want to be looking at it from outside of the team. What's important to the organisation that team's a part of? Be it a small organisation where they are the whole organisation, in which case your product goals are likely the same as your team's goals. Or at a bigger organisation, what are they trying to achieve? Good is going to be context dependent. And we see it time and time again that there's a disconnect here. People forget that teams work inside organisations and they will chase after something that feels nice, that is good intentions, but is not necessarily good in the organisational context of which they're working. So some examples for you. I worked with one team in the legal world. They were a good team, good software developers, slightly distributed, mainly based in one location with a few people elsewhere. And just by restructuring them so they did Scrum. They used lots of words from Scrum. And when I asked them, and they said, we're in sprint 8, I think it was. I was like, okay. And we did sprint planning yesterday. Great. And the next conversation, we're in sprint 7, and we did the retrospective yesterday. I was like, okay. So you do planning and retrospective on the same day. Oh no, we do one at the start and one at the end. Okay, great. It turned out they didn't really know what Scrum was. Okay, no fault of their own. They were trying things out. They'd had nobody to guide them in this experience. And success in that organisation was not faster. It was more predictable. They didn't really care about the speed. If they needed more speed, they were willing to wait for it, but they could, if they needed to, add more development teams to the mix. What they wanted was to know that they would get the things they were told they would get when they were told they would get them. So what we did was we first of all explained Scrum. We got everybody on the same page as to what Scrum is and what it isn't, and we reset the teams. And we started a new sprint with planning, and we evolved slowly over the months that I was with them until they understood Scrum. They could do that, that wasn't a problem. And because the focus was on predictability, good was about the organisation knowing when they were going to get their stuff, they were okay to slow down. In fact, they had senior sponsors saying, go slower. Don't worry. Just tell us what we'll get and when we'll get it, and success is we get it then. So they didn't have to rush, they didn't have to race. They could focus on getting the underpinnings in place. While being predictable, they were also very high quality and working on difficult topics. And as that all came together, they could slowly speed up. But every sprint they were delivering. It didn't always go to plan, they didn't always deliver everything they said they would. But when they didn't, that became the core of their retrospectives. Why didn't we do this? Because they knew that to the organisation, success was predictability. And that team ended up being a great team. They work together still, they still deliver in a great cadence, time and time again. So good is going to come down to the context you find yourselves in. And as a Scrum Master, we need to help the organisation understand what that is if they don't know. And if they do know, help the team honour that context. If you've got to this point in the video, I hope you've enjoyed it. If so, a like would be appreciated. If you want to hear more from me, more answers to questions that maybe you've got in the Agile world, please subscribe to the channel. And if you've got a question that you really want answered, drop it in the comments. I promise we'll get around to it. Thank you.